So a couple of weeks ago, I made a video on the top 30 mispronounced words in English. If you haven't watched that yet, here's the link. And this video did really well. I got a lot of comments from students asking me to make similar content. So that's what I've done. Here on this piece of paper, I have a list of 25 additional words that are very difficult to pronounce. And I'm going to go through them one by one, showing you how to pronounce them accurately. But before we begin, if this is your first time to my channel, hi, I'm Teacher Luke and I make English content just like this to help students like you improve your English. So if this is something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button and hit like on this channel. So the first one is a little bit controversial because people can pronounce it in different ways. I pronounce this word with just 2 syllables. Jewelry. Jewelry. But other people pronounce it with 3 syllables. Jewelry. Jewelry. Both are fine, so you choose whichever one's easiest for you. But it's important to know that you put the stress on the first syllable. In a sentence, she has many pieces of jewelry. I don't wear jewelry of any kind. The second word on this list can be a bit tricky because the spelling and the pronunciation don't match exactly, because this word has a silent syllable. If you want to learn more about silent syllables, check out this lesson up here. So this word has 3 syllables. Vegetable. Vegetable. Some students pronounce this with 4 syllables, but that's not correct. It only has 3. One more time. Vegetable. For example, I grow all kinds of vegetables in my garden. Number 3 is a similar problem. This word also has a silent syllable. We pronounce this word as comfortable. How many syllables? Right, only 3. Comfortable. Comfortable. My new shoes are not very comfortable. Number 4 is probably my favorite food. This fish is pronounced salmon. Salmon. Did you notice something here? Right, the L is not pronounced. So in writing, we write it with an L, but when we're speaking, we don't say that L. It's just salmon. In a sentence, Canada is well known for salmon fishing. Number 5 is a bit tricky because there are 3 different S ending sounds in English. Again, if you want to learn about these S ending sounds, click this link above. So we pronounce this word clothes. Clothes. The last syllable is a weak Z. Clothes. A lot of students pronounce this as clothes, but that's incorrect. It's always just clothes. In a sentence, I bought some new clothes for the trip. Number 6 is architecture. Architecture. How many syllables did you hear? This one has 4 syllables, so it's quite a long word for English. Architecture. Architecture. I'm not a big fan of modern architecture. Number 7 is a very long word, so it's pretty tricky to pronounce. We pronounce this like enthusiastic. 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 So it has 5 syllables. And note that the stress for this word is on the 4th syllable. As. Enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. For example, she's a very enthusiastic student. 8 is particularly. Particularly. Stress goes on the 2nd syllable. Particularly. The traffic is really bad today, particularly in the city center. 9 is analysis. Analysis. This word has 4 syllables, and notice that the 4th syllable is not pronounced I, it's pronounced a. One more time. Analysis. Analysis. For example, if you're doing some research, you might say, we need to conduct an analysis on this data set. Now 10 is the verb form of analysis, and it is analyze. 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 Some students pronounce this as analyze because in the spelling it has an A, but when we're speaking, we just pronounce it analyze. One more time, analyze. For example, the researchers have analyzed the data set. Number 11 is a word that's very commonly used at the doctors, and it's pronounced prescription. Prescription. This word has 3 syllables and the stress goes on the second syllable. Prescription. For example, this medicine is not available without a prescription. You might use number 12 at a hotel, and this one is difficult to pronounce because the spelling is nothing like the pronunciation. We pronounce this word as sweet. Sweet. The executive suite is on the top floor. 13 is a word I use a lot, and it is literally. Literally. This word has 4 syllables. Literally. Literally. And the stress is on the first syllable. There are literally hundreds of prizes to be won. 13 is this adorable animal, and you can find lots of these in London. We pronounce this squirrel. Squirrel. So a lot of students find this difficult because of the consonant cluster. That is, the different consonants that follow each other. So in the first syllable, we pronounce it squi. Squi. And the second syllable is just rull. Squirrel. Squirrel. One more time. Squirrel. For example, there are surprisingly a lot of squirrels in London. 14 is a mistake because a lot of students put the stress in the wrong place. This one is pronounced dessert. Dessert. Where did you hear the stress? Right, on the second syllable. Dessert. Dessert. If you put the stress on the first syllable, it sounds more like desert, which is not correct. Of course, a desert is the place with lots and lots of sand. This word is just pronounced dessert. Let's get some ice cream for dessert. 15 is specific. Specific. The stress goes on the second syllable. Specific. Specific. Some students pronounce this like specific, but that's not right. The first syllable is pronounced specific. I gave you specific instructions. 16 is tricky because it has a silent letter. When we spell it, we write it with an L, but when we speak it, we do not pronounce the L at all. It's just pronounced yolk. Yolk. Are egg yolks bad for you? 17 also has a silent letter. The P letter is not pronounced. This word is pronounced raspberry. Raspberry. 3 syllables. Raspberry. And the stress goes on the first syllable. Raspberry. I love raspberry jam on toast. 18 is pronounced alcohol. Alcohol. Not alcohol. Alcohol. The second syllable uses the schwa, so it takes a weak form. And the stress goes on the first syllable. Alcohol. Alcohol. Do you drink alcohol? I don't drink much alcohol anymore. 19 is unfortunately. Unfortunately. The stress goes on the second syllable here. Unfortunately. One more time. Unfortunately. I can't make it to the party, unfortunately. 20 is an advanced word, but this word has a really tricky pronunciation. It's pronounced facetious. 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 Stress goes on the second syllable. We use facetious when you're making a joke at someone else's expense. That just means you're making fun of someone in a very negative way. This is what facetious means. For example, stop being facetious. This is a serious issue. 21 is walk. Walk. Now, of course, I'm British, so I pronounce this like walk. Americans pronounce it a bit differently, but I can't do that properly, so I'm not even going to try. But it is, in British English, walk. Walk. My baby is learning to walk. 22 is the word that is really commonly confused with walk, especially in British English. So 22, we pronounce this word work. Work. Remember, 21 was walk. This one is work. Walk and work. The difference is in the vowel, or and Walk and work. For example, I love my work. Now 24 is a great one when you're talking about food. This one is pronounced lettuce. Lettuce. Now, of course, the spelling looks like it should be pronounced lettuce. But actually, the last syllable is pronounced is. Lettuce. For example, I need to pop to the shop to pick up some lettuce and some other things. And last one, number 25, we pronounce this Arctic. Arctic. Just 2 syllables. Arctic. Arctic. Sadly, the Arctic is melting really quickly. Okay, so those were 25 commonly mispronounced words. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And I'll be back with another video next week, so I'll see you then. Have a nice week. Bye-bye.